Mexico is going to become one of the richest nations in the world by the mid-century. It has one of the healthiest population demographics in the world, with a fast-growing economy as the United States moves its manufacturing business from China to Mexico for its cheaper labor. It also is building a good social structure with a strong middle class lifting millions out of poverty, and is gearing up to be a superpower by 2070. The first reason for this is population growth. Mexico has a large and growing population. With over 128 million people, it is the 11th most populous country in the world with a strong young population, meaning that it has a large and growing workforce that is capable of driving economic growth. The country's population is also still growing at a healthy pace, with the population expected to reach almost 150 million by 2050. This means that there will be a constant influx of new workers entering the labor force, and thus a key driver of economic growth. In a world of declining birth rate, we are going to see huge levels of population collapse in massive parts of the world, such as in Europe, Russia, and most problematically China for the global manufacturing belt. When there's not enough young people to pay for the old, that's when you get shrinking economies and extremism in the youth as the young population grow up poorer than their parents and their parents before them. And even if you have a high productivity society as most of the Western world is now, it really doesn't matter if you have 2 old men for every 1 young man. The economics cannot be matched. In order for optimal levels of sustainability and quality of life to increase, you need a slow but gradually growing population with a birth rate anything over that of 2.1. This means that there are enough young people to replace the old, and more importantly, a healthy population that is steadily growing. Mexico is in this camp. Another benefit of this is increased consumer demand. As the population grows, there is an increased demand for goods and services. This can lead to the growth of businesses and industries, which in turn can create more jobs and opportunities for people in a global future where there's less reliance on global trade and more reliance on self-sufficiency. The second factor for Mexico's future dominance is geographic. Mexico is also well positioned geographically. It is located in the heart of North America, which makes it an ideal location for companies looking to access the markets of both the United States and Canada. In fact, Mexico is the United States' second largest trading partner, and the two countries have a long history of economic cooperation. In addition, Mexico has a number of free trade agreements with other countries around the world, which gives it access to a wide range of markets. This strategic location is an important advantage for the country, as it allows it to tap into the vast economic potential of the region. The connection is so strong, in fact, that the United States-Mexico partnership is the biggest border connection in the world. The two economies are genuinely inseparable. They are so interconnected that one would be brought to their knees if not for the other. Mexico's economy has undergone significant modernization and diversification in recent decades. As of 2021, the country had a GDP of around $1.3 trillion, making it the 15th largest economy in the world. The service sector is the largest contributor to Mexico's GDP, accounting for around 61% of the total, while the manufacturing sector is the second largest contributor, accounting for around 25% of GDP. One key aspect of this modernization has been the country's increasing integration into the global economy. Mexico is the 7th largest exporter of goods in the world, with almost $500 billion in exports in 2021. The United States is its top trading partner, making up over 3/4 of Mexico's exports. Mexico has signed a number of free trade agreements, including the North American Free Trade Agreement with the United States and Canada. These agreements have helped to boost Mexico's exports and attract foreign investment. The government has also implemented a number of economic reforms in recent years, including efforts to increase competitiveness and improve the business environment. These reforms have included the introduction of a new competition law, the modernization of the tax system, and the implementation of labor market reforms. It has also implemented a number of measures designed to improve the business environment and encourage investments, such as reducing red tape, streamlining regulations, and improving infrastructure. In addition to these efforts, the government has also focused on reducing poverty and inequality. It has implemented a number of social programs designed to provide support to low-income families and to improve access to education and healthcare. The Mexican government can continue to modernize and use the increasing isolation of America to the North American plain and reduction of globalization to become baby America, and continue to strengthen their trade relationship and become incredibly wealthy in the process. And one of the huge reasons for this is the move away from Chinese labor. As we see power move away from China in the next few decades due to their highly anticipated approaching collapse, America's next labor powerhouse is logically Mexico in the coming years. Mexico's labor is becoming increasingly competitive with China's, and there are several reasons why this is the case. Firstly, wages in Mexico are significantly lower than they are in China. While wages in China are still comparatively cheap against the rest of the world, they are still significantly higher than they are in Mexico. This makes Mexico an attractive destination for American companies looking to cut labor costs. Secondly, Mexico has a number of free trade agreements with countries around the world, which gives it access to a wide range of markets. This allows companies to take advantage of Mexico's low labor costs, while still being able to sell to consumers in other countries, a very similar move China did in order for it to become the global factory. Thirdly, Mexico has a well-developed transportation infrastructure, which makes it easy for companies to get their products to market. This is especially important for companies that are looking to export goods to the United States. Establishing strong transport routes is game-changing, as it allows for faster manufacturing and transportation of goods going to the American market. Instead of having to ship them all the way from China, they can get there quickly through road or rail. Finally, Mexico has a highly skilled workforce that is capable of producing high-quality products. It is not just poor low-skill level manufacturing. The country's labor is very capable of creating the high-quality products that the United States and others demand. With this extra money flowing into the country, a strong middle class is building. One of the most promising things about Mexico as a real economic player is its strong and growing middle class. We know that in a strong society, the middle class is absolutely paramount for prosperity and a healthy society. In recent years, the country's economy has grown significantly, and this has led to an increase in the number of people who are able to afford a higher standard of living. The Mexican middle class is growing gradually year on year, currently estimated at around 50% of the population. In fact, the middle class in Mexico is expected to grow to over 75% by 2030, which will be a major driver of economic growth and lifting millions out of poverty. The growth of the middle class in Mexico is also important because it can help to reduce income inequality. As more people are able to afford a higher standard of living, the gap between the rich and the poor tends to narrow. This can help to create a more stable and cohesive society. But you cannot have a society without energy, and Mexico sure has a lot. It has strong energy security. As a major oil producer, the 10th largest in the world, this gives the country a stable source of energy that can help fuel economic growth. That's also making significant investments in renewable energy. It's home to a number of large solar and wind projects, and it is also working to expand its capacity in these areas to maximize output. The Mexican government is committed to energy security. It's actively working to expand the country's energy capacity and to diversify its mix. Fortunately, however, Mexico has enough oil to be able to sustain itself for decades, so energy security really is of no concern. Not many people know, but Mexico is a huge agricultural producer. Mexico has a strong and diverse agriculture sector, which plays a significant role in the country's economy. The country is one of the world's top producers of a variety of agricultural commodities, including corn, beans, wheat, and avocados. In fact, Mexico is the largest producer of avocados in the world, with around 45% of global production. The country has a diverse range of climates and landscapes, which allows for the production of a wide variety of crops. The agriculture sector is a major employer in Mexico, with around 6% of the country's workforce engaged in agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Mexico is also a major exporter of agricultural products, with exports totaling around $34 billion in 2021. The United States is the top destination for Mexico's agricultural exports, followed by Canada, China, and Japan. Now, if you didn't know about the strong future of Mexico, find out why the United Kingdom is collapsing in real time, and subscribe to find out more about the future of the world.